Well, first, just want to thank UT Rio Grande Valley for coming today on short notice, and thought his team really played well. Really hard to get matched up sometimes with them. I thought Taylor Muff was special today, 5 out of 8 from three. Um, again, we're I thought our third quarter was great. We scored 30. We gave up a little too many, 19. But I was really our first three quarters offensively were much better than what we've been doing. Obviously, sitting there with Aaliyah in a game, and I went, "Didn't it make you sick?" We couldn't throw it in the ocean if we were standing on the beach at high tide Wednesday. And tonight we shoot the ball so much better. 8 out of 14 from three. She goes 4 for 6, and we look better. We just look more comfortable with our shooting. But free throws continue to be an Achilles for us, 56%. And I thought our defense was much better the first half than it was in the second. But we needed to play. We got to play. Those kids play really hard, and so it was good to get out there. And again, we're still knocking off some rust. Deanna Gaston still, she's only practiced 3 times since we came back. So we're trying 3 or 4 times. So we're trying to get people back in shape and that have been out, for an extended period of time. And so that continues to be a work in progress for us. But you sit there and you look at some of the combinations we have on the floor, and we can be really young and inexperienced at times with some of them. But we created a little bit of a monster early in the season with some of the teams we beat and how we played, and somebody thinks we're this and they give us this ranking. But at the end of the day, we're replacing 4 starters. And so, I think you have to sometimes realize that. Our older kids need to play better. They know that. But, this one right here has been in the gym 2 straight days. Shay Holly in the gym 2 straight days. Leah Moore, 2 straight days. Leah Moore had 15 rebounds tonight, y'all. It's hard to do in a college basketball game. 5 offensive, and again, she's got to knock some rust off. Joe is Joe. She's just solid, y'all. She has a presence about her. She has a presence in shoot-around. She has a presence in practice. Her motor's constantly on full go, and I just need some more kids to have that same presence and same work ethic that she has every day. Aaliyah right here, she's one of them that Aaliyah has the talent and the skill set to be one of the premier players in the country. Sometimes I don't think she realizes it. And I just want more for her. I want her to want more because I think our team needs more from her. And, it's just, we all know in the room, we know what she's done to help us win some big ball games, but trying to get her to understand every day, being, wanting it and wanting to go to work and do that. And I was proud of her the last 2 days because she's a little nicked up. Her knees bothering her a little bit. She had a little bit of a growing injury the 2 days before that, and yet she came in and got extra shots and stayed after. So I think it paid off. So Kobe's been in. She stayed late. So all our kids, they care. And that's what you want. You want kids that care. So we got a big week in front of us, 2 home games. This game was supposed to be on the road, right? So we got 2 home games in front of us. So we need to make hay while we can.
Coach, should this situation come up again this year in which you have a game postponed because the other team is having COVID issues, will this be your philosophy moving forward to always try to find, one of these last-minute pop-up games just to keep your team in the routine of playing a couple of games a week?
Well, we had the flexibility of a non-conference game because we lost Alcorn State after Christmas. So we'll now be limited to finding another conference team.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that's what they'll do. The conference office will try to match us up the best they can, but we're limited now for the rest of the year. We've got 16 conference games, and we're going to have to find a way to make those up.
Vic, is Kendall still a part of this team?
As far as I know, yeah.
With her this year, she started for you once, she's played here and there. Is this her adjusting to Kendall adjusting to life as a freshman, and what has kind of been your philosophy with bringing her along this year?
Well, I don't know. All young kids go through growing pains, and it's really hard. College is hard, y'all. I mean, it's hard for anybody. Texas is hard, man. Academically, it's a challenge, but basketball is really a challenge. So I just think for any young player, and I got 4 freshmen on my team. I mean, it's just different, you know. I got 2 number 1 players in the country in junior college, depending on what scouting service you look at, and you know, it's hard for them. It's just a different level. So I just think for any young player, I mean, you can go on TV and watch any team in the top 25. They got McDonald's All-Americans sitting over on the bench. They ain't even getting off the bench. Somebody told me the average minutes nationally for freshmen is like, it's an unbelievable, like 3 or something minutes played per game. Like, but I mean, you can look at some of the top 10 teams in the country. They got 5 and 6 McDonald's All-Americans, so they ain't getting off the bench.
Have you told her?
All of our kids are averaging double-figure minutes, all of them. So any kid, any young kid, any old kid, any new player to this level, it's a challenge. I'm talking about in general for anybody new to this level, and so. You know, all of our freshmen, I've had to really talk to them and try to bring them along because it's just different. The demands are different, the expectations are different, the accountability is different, and so for all our young kids, it's a process, y'all. That's the part. I don't know if y'all saw the tweet from Tom Izzo, but his tweet was, you know, nobody wants to go through the process. And he hates that. That was his tweet, you know. It's a process, and it's really hard. And, you know, I love these kids, and we love them all, but it's a challenge for all of any new player coming to the Big 12. It's different. And so you just, you know, we love them all. We put our arm around them all. We try to coach them and teach them the best we can.
Did you just tell her, you know, stay away today and come back
No,
when you're ready,
our conversation, you know, that's really a private matter with her right now. I mean, it's something that's really just it's in house. So y'all want to talk about the game?
For the players, for y'all, how important is a game like this to kind of help bounce back after the Tech game? Now with more conference games on the horizon, how does it kind of help to build up confidence and kind of help pick each other up?
I mean, I think for any team, you know, you come off of a loss, and the next thing you're thinking is, who are we going to play next? Like, we got to win the next game. We didn't see it like that. We knew and understood our mistakes in the previous game. We went through our faults, and we all came together and like, yeah, we messed up. We didn't play our best game. All we can do is get better and learn from it. So I think the biggest thing is just having something to fall back on. Like, we're not going into the next game on a loss. We're going in on a win, so it gives us energy, motivation, like, we can do it. We know we can do it. It's just a matter of us putting it all together and going out there and doing it.
What was your goal? You said you were in the gym for a couple of days. What was your goal? Was it a certain amount of shots, technique, anything?
Just really to get my rhythm back. I felt like I hadn't been in rhythm for a while. I was uncomfortable shooting the ball. So and I wasn't in there as much as I was before. It took some time off, considering I went home for Christmas and just needed a little bit of rest. But now I got tired of being cold. I don't like to miss. So.
Lauren, did you feel, Vic said going inside against Tech was kind of a goal of yours, a pregame goal, but just didn't work out. Was that kind of the same message today? Because when you guys started off, he's pounding it inside and seemed to work out pretty well today.
Yeah, I think every game we look to go inside. Obviously, we have like 5 post players that can be a threat when we want to be a threat. I think when it came to our previous game, we were just soft. We were getting bullied down there. I think from this point on, myself and the other post players, we just got to be more of a threat and look to attack. And I mean, we're getting looks. We just have to convert.
you just used the soft word. Joe and Audrey both said you guys weren't tough enough in their post game. Is that something you guys are relaying as seniors to your younger teammates, or what are those conversations like about toughness and?
I mean, it really starts with, like, as a senior, it starts with me. So before I get on them about being soft, I can't display that. So if I'm not doing my job, that's not, I got to focus on being an example, letting them see that before I try to get on them for being soft or not being tough. So, yeah. I mean, I'll hold them accountable when the time comes, but, if I'm not doing my job, who am I to get on them for not doing theirs?
Lee, how have you liked this role, I guess pretty much throughout the season, of coming off the bench and kind of being that first option off the bench?
It's cool. I mean, I think I've always come off the bench. Only time I ever started in my life was in high school, so never really was like a problem or anything. What was the rest of the question? I'm sorry.
Just how have you liked that role?
Oh, I mean, I like it. I feel important, It's always nice to feel, like you can help or you can benefit in some way. And I think the biggest thing is, for me, is just learning how to be consistent in that role. I was pretty frustrated the past 5 games. I didn't do too well. The biggest thing is defense. I'm trying super hard to learn to guard the ball and not be in foul trouble and things like that. But I mean, I know my role, like I know my job, so it's important, the role that I play within the team, that I come in and give energy and do my job. And like Coach Shaver always says, you come in, you fix what's broken, or you just leave it. You don't do anything extra, unnecessary. And I think that's the biggest thing. I just try to come in and pick up the pieces wherever they need me. If it's defense, even though it might not be my night on defense, still got to try. So just wherever they need me, really, I'm just there.
Like, why have you kind of put Aaliyah in that? I mean, she's still getting 20-some minutes a game, so it's not like she's getting short spurts. But why is she kind of in this role?
Well, I think she sits there and she's a real smart kid. And I think she sits there and sees things going on. And I think it registers. That makes sense. So when she comes in, she's kind of a step ahead now. She's done some studying. She sees what's available, and is able to really be a spark for us. I mean, how many people in the country are leading scorers? You're sixth player off the bench, and Joe and Audrey obviously have. Joe, Audrey, Rory are really good chemistry-wise from a defensive perspective. And then you bring in Aaliyah, and she is, to me, explosive offensively. So now whoever's been guarding maybe one of them other three, all of a sudden now you got Aaliyah Matharu out there stretching you, knocking down a three before you can figure it out, or she's beating you off the bounce. And so she's just a dynamic offensive player. Yes, I want her to be good defensively. She knows that. She's got to be better. And she will be. She'll take a charge. She's a good help defender. I think a lot of times it's just her interest sometimes, but at the end of the day, she knows that she needs to be able to play both ends. But I love having her. I think any coach loves to have a player that is explosive come off the bench. And because teams, they've been guarding whoever she takes their place. They've been guarding her one way. Well, you can't guard Aaliyah the same way you guard them other three that I just mentioned. And so I just think it really provides a unique thing for our team right now, and it's what's allowed us to be good. I mean, you think about it. She's had 17 points in the fourth quarter at Stanford. She came off the bench at A&M and had 26, maybe 27, had 26 at Tennessee, and had some real explosive fourth quarters for her. So, she's doing a good job. Again, I think it's more of a, she sees what's going on and she's able to come in and really be effective from that standpoint. So it's a tremendous advantage for her and us.
Did you ever have to, so you had that same role at Mississippi State, right? Did you ever have to talk her into that? Because kids have talent and they're not used to it.
We had our first summer together, we were overseas. we went over there and played in the World University Games, and we played for the gold medal. Our team at Mississippi State, played for the gold medal, and Aaliyah, coming from high school, and was a very decorated player in high school, and it was a process. She went through the process, right? She didn't play near as much as she wanted to early in her career, and that's again why I'm really proud of her, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for her, and again, she's a great example of understanding the process, being accountable for the process, realizes she needed to get better in some areas, and then her last 5 games for me at Mississippi, she was my leading scorer. But her first 15, there were nights she didn't play very much, and she had to learn. She had to learn the game at that level, right? And so that's why when she went in the portal, I was like, I want that kid, that last 5 games of the year, for me, when she was a freshman at Miss, that's the kid I want. That's the kid we need at Texas. And so, but it was a process for her. It was a challenge some nights, some days, because she wants to play. I mean, who doesn't? What competitor doesn't? But she's a great example of what happens when you go through the process. You let people coach and teach you. And look, I'm as hard on Aaliyah as I've been on Blair, my own daughter. I mean, Blair took the brunt of a lot of things as a player from me, and I'm real demanding of Aaliyah.
Let's times 10 it.
Blair was times 10.
Mm-hmm.
Blair was times 10 harder than you.
I'm times 10.
But again, I think Aaliyah's can be one of the great players in our conference as well across the country. But there's things she's got to do better, right? And so I'm the one that's got to hold her accountable for it. And I'm going to tell you, there's one thing about me and her, we're both ultra competitive. And so we're very like-minded in that regard. And so anyway, it's all part of it. But, I need more from these two. I need more from Audrey. I need more from Joe. And these are our older kids, y'all. If we're going to win at this level, these 4 have got to be good for us, day in and day out, night in and night out.
Lauren, you've been through the Big 12, once. What do you expect from this conference this season? Just what do you think of this conference?
I just think every time we get a chance to play, we're gonna get somebody's best, and we just have to be ready. Our last game proved that we weren't ready, and we have to be locked in and focused every single game, because it's not an easy conference. It doesn't matter if you're ranked or not. When it comes down to it, it's who plays hardest that night, who can execute that night, who plays together that night. So I think just each night, we just got to be focused and ready to go.
Okay, appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Praise the Lord.